How you doing, Rasmanites? Yes, it's finally time for me to review my most anticipated film in what feels like years and years and years. I finally, as you all saw in the Blu-ray update, got to see Silver Linings Playbook. So, before I can start to talk about Silver Linings Playbook, I have to talk about David O. Russell, because David O. Russell is one of my favorite directors of all time, and the thing that really shocked me was that Silver Linings Playbook has outdone his last masterpiece, The Fighter, as what I believe to be his best film. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a Jennifer Lawrence mark. So I'm going to get into Silver Linings now. So if you haven't seen Silver Linings Playbook, I forgot to say this off the start, my bad. If you have not seen this film and you're one of those people that doesn't like spoilers when you go into a film, please just thumb this up, favorite it, put it in your watch list, and come back to it later after you see the film. Right. So Silver Linings is by far the best film that I've ever seen from one of the best directors in Hollywood today. And the reason is because David O. Russell managed to take an unbelievable cast. Bradley Cooper, Jennifer Lawrence, Robert De Niro, Jackie Weaver, and Chris Tucker, take that phenomenally insane amount of talent for one picture, and he made it work. Every character in here is memorable. Every character in here leaves an impression on you. And the most important thing about this film is just the sheer, utter emotional journey that you'll go on. See, I'm an old school guy. I don't like to watch trailers for things that I'm highly anticipating, unless it's a universe that I'm already ultra familiar with, like a superhero universe or the Star Trek universe, Star Wars, etc., etc. Unless it's a well-established universe where seeing what the new film is going to be won't hurt it, I don't ever watch a trailer. Particularly when I know that I'm going to see something just based on someone being in it, as was the case with Jennifer Lawrence in Silver Linings Playbook. So the only thing I knew about this film was right what it said on the cover, and that was that Jennifer finally won the Oscar for it. And like I said in the Blu-ray update, Marissa and I cried like babies when she won. And the only clip I'd ever seen was the clip that it showed with her in the diner scene where she was going nuts. But out of context, it didn't make a difference. So when I put this film in, I was expecting a romantic dramedy, because that's what someone told me it was. You know, a mix between a romantic comedy and a drama. But I was not expecting the emotional journey that I went on. This is the deepest emotional journey I think I've ever experienced. This has gone just slightly ahead of Perks of Being a Wallflower, which is saying a whole heck of a lot. I mean, you guys know that I bought the film. I bought 2 books, one for myself, one for Marissa. That story had such an impact on me, and I had no idea that this story was based on a book. And I'm tempted to pick up the book for this as well, but I'm not 100% sold yet, because the film was so good. It had so many great actors in it that I don't know if there are any changes in the book, and I wouldn't want it to tarnish the film. So I'll have to wait and see what I do there. But what this film does is it takes you on just a soul-crushing journey, because this is the story of Patrick, played by Bradley Cooper, who, by the way, now after seeing this, was absolutely robbed to the 10,000th degree at the Academy Awards. He should have been the best actor, bar none. And the fact that he wasn't is a crime, and this should have been a double bill of Academy Award winners. And that's the end of my soapbox. Anyway, Bradley Cooper is Patrick, and Patrick is a guy that we see in the opening of the film. He's doing a narration about his philosophy on life and how he feels about Sundays. And then the camera slowly pans out and you realize that, wait a second, Patrick's in a mental hospital. And what this film is all about is dealing with mental anxiety. You see, Patrick had a mental episode trigger in him. His family has a history of mental issues, particularly his father, played by Robert De Niro, who gave another brilliant performance. Not going to spend too much time on it, but De Niro is De Niro. He cried in a scene where he needed to cry, in a moment between himself and his son. And he has an obsession with the Philadelphia Eagles, and he's OCD, and he's just absolutely masterful in this. One of the best performances I've ever seen him do. So kudos to De Niro again. But Patrick, Bradley Cooper's character, has been fighting these mental illness demons his whole life, and they get triggered when he walks in on his wife having an affair with a colleague of theirs at the school that they both work in. And so what is so different about this film? Like, we've seen mental stability addressed before. Like, there's all kinds of crazy characters in the history of cinema, right? You know, and I apologize if my dog is barked in the background there, but there's all kinds of crazy characters in the history of cinema. You got the Joker, you got Hannibal Lecter, you know, the list goes on and on and on. So it's not like we've never seen a character with mental issues. But what we haven't seen are not one, not two, but three or four, well, yeah, four characters in this. Bradley Cooper's Patrick, Jennifer Lawrence's Tiffany, Chris Tucker's Danny. Sorry, took me from a minute to remember what his name was, but it's Danny. And the dad of Bradley Patrick, which played by De Niro, which I cannot remember his name for the life of me. Oh my goodness, what is his name? I don't know if it would say on the back here. Give me 1 second. If it doesn't, I'll put it in overlay. Right, no, it doesn't say. So there it is, an overlay right there. But anyway, what we haven't seen is four main characters really being truly mentally disturbed. And this story is written by a guy who had a son that was mentally ill. And you really truly get to experience and appreciate the levity of mental illness and really root for Patrick to overcome his mental illness, while at the same time you get exposed to a different kind of mental illness that was brought on by grief. In Tiffany, played by Jennifer Lawrence, and her husband died and she's grieving, and she becomes a crazy slut and has sex with everybody, and then meets Patrick, and that's how her and Patrick end up together, because of their attraction and being crazy with each other. And it's just such an emotional connection between the two, because she brings out the best in him without him even knowing it for the majority of the film. And then at the end of the film, of course, they fall in love. And throughout this whole time, even though Tiffany claims that she doesn't care about anybody or anything, she pretends to be his ex-wife, writing him a letter. It is just the most unique way that I've ever seen a director be able to tell a love story. Like, the closest comparison I can make to it is, again, Perks of Being a Wallflower, because of the plot in that about a mentally ill teenager. So these stories are actually very similar, but this one here, Silver Linings, is not mental illness brought on by just scarring. It's mental illness on every level, and it doesn't pull any punches. It shows you how scary and how brutal mental illness can be, and it really gave a voice to everyone who's ever dealt with any kind of mental illness. And it's just so powerful and so emotional, and it's a film that I will watch 200 times over in my lifetime, because if this kind of film doesn't speak to you, then you're not a true cinephile. So, did Jennifer Lawrence deserve her Oscar win? Absolutely. She does things in this film I didn't even know she's capable of, despite being her biggest fan in the world. At 21 years old, this woman is setting a standard for Hollywood that has not been seen since Meryl Streep. Period. End of story. So yes, she deserved her Oscar win, and as I said, Bradley Cooper deserved one that he didn't get. So if you're on the fence about this film because the trailer confused you and you didn't know what it was about, or you just wanted to know if it was just overhyped for no reason at all, the answer to both, I hope I answered both by explaining what it was about and by telling you that it wasn't overhyped. It is a beautiful film, beautifully shot, beautifully directed, beautifully composed. I mean, anybody that's ever seen a David O. Russell film knows that music is a trademark of his work, and this is a great score by Danny Elfman and great pieces of music by actual bands in the film that really add to the story. So this is a tremendous, tremendous piece of cinema. Silver Linings Playbook gets 5 out of 5 stars all the way across the board. Could not recommend it more if my life depended on it. So, as always, please help out my company I work for, Handi Enterprises Inc, by supporting all their social media with all company contact information down below. If you haven't done so already, I would greatly appreciate it. Any help you give them is a direct help to me. Follow me on social media and do what you do. And this is reality according to their Razman and Razman style. It's not just a catchphrase, but a way of life.